Tara and Andy's film reviews on OurGamers.co.uk.
Good morning, Andy.
You probably snore. Good morning.
Oh, good morning. How are you today?
Yeah, no complaints.
Apart from tired by the sounds of it, if you're going to be snoring. Brilliant. That's a great way to start. Let's get straight into the film. You're here for the film review. Today we're going to be talking about Exodus, Gods and Kings. It's classified 12A. The director is Ridley Scott. Loads of great actors starring in this one. We've got Christian Bale, Joel Edgerton, Ben Kingsley. Oh, he's in everything.
I was
that man's
surprised when he
brilliant,
came into it. I didn't know he was in it, so...
Yeah, he is really good. The genre for this film, action, adventure, drama. The running time is quite a bit of a long film. It's 150 minutes, which is, what, 2.5 hours?
Yes.
I do believe. Yeah, it's too early for maths, isn't it? It's way too early. Just a bit about it. The defiant leader Moses rises up against the Egyptian Pharaoh Ramses, setting 600,000 slaves, wow, that's a lot, on a monumental journey of escape. Well, if you want a challenge, I guess you might as well go all the way, you know, all or nothing. On a monumental journey of escape from Egypt and its terrifying cycle of deadly plagues. Now, this film was a very interesting watch, I have to say.
It was very.
So, it was very... You made me giggle. Okay, so let's get straight into the music and costume. So the music, Andy, I thought... I wrote this... This was, I think, the first note I wrote down for the film, the music, just from the intro shot itself. It was nice. It matched the time and place, you know, the vocals and the instruments used for it, which I absolutely love, that whole cultural aspect of it all.
It was also the first note I made.
Was it?
Based on the music, is there? For the first scene, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very impressed with it.
It's the thing that really stands out, doesn't it?
Very impressed from the outset, yeah.
Definitely.
The music was really good.
And then also throughout the film, it just built up and up. It was very strong music to match the intensity within the scenes. Obviously, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on throughout this film, and it was very moving too. I did get teary quite a few times.
The music did fit the film all the way through perfectly. Yeah.
Absolutely perfectly. Have you got any other notes about the music? No. I just thought it was... But I love when they do that, when they do make the music fit, like I said, with the instruments that are used for that sort of area, you know, geographically and historically, the time and place, just basically having everything fit as if it is there and then. It makes the whole feel so much better and authentic.
In the movie a lot more.
Exactly, definitely. Let's move on to the costume. Where to start? I mean, hello? The costumes? The, like, being adorned with all this gold. Like, oh, I was like a magpie? I was just fascinated by all the jewels and the gold and I want to say peacocks for some reason. There were peacocks running around the palace too. I know they weren't like adorned or embellished, but they were very colourful. So it caught my attention as well. So, they just randomly got peacocks running around. But yeah, I loved their elaborate costumes, you know. Yeah, I just absolutely loved it. The detailing, the embellishments, the extravagantness. Are these even words? Take over whenever you want, Andy. I'm struggling with my words right now.
When I was looking at them, I totally thought, she's going to love that costume. She's going to love that costume.
And I know it's a man's costume, but I'll wear it anyway because it just looks really good.
Well, they were dresses, so you know.
I'm loving it. They wear skirts. Just a quick thing about that, as we're on the topic about skirts, obviously Ramses wears skirts in this one, who's played by Joel Edgerton. And from what I heard, to really get into the character and know how the character would move and what it would be like to be wearing a skirt, he actually went, I think, to a vintage shop somewhere, bought himself a skirt to wear for his rehearsals.
Any excuse.
True acting. The true actor style right there, to get straight into it, really know what your character... Apparently he loves them, he highly recommends them.
That's what I said, any excuse.
So anyway, that is about the music and costume. Anything else, Andy?
Just that, how can you get that many costumes done for so many cast? The cast was huge, you know, not just the slaves as well. Yeah. All those costumes must have taken so much time to make. I know. And then getting everyone into hair and makeup, oh my goodness, they must have like started at 2 a.m. in the morning just to get everyone done in time. Easily.
So there we go. That's about music and costume. We will move on to loads of different things before the end of this hour. We've got imagery, shots, cast, pace, experience. Some random notes as well. I've got a random one there. Okay, we're talking about Exodus, Gods and Kings. Quite an intense, long, crazy, crazy, awesome film.
Didn't feel long from memory.
I did feel it. I felt it. We'll get into the pace.
With the pace, not yet.
Yeah, not yet, Andy, not yet. We're going to be talking about imagery and shots now. Imagery, here we go. I'm going to get straight into it. Brilliant, strong, and very powerful imagery. Yes. And if you're thinking, what? What about? Well, without getting too much into it, obviously, when it comes to the plagues, the very powerful shots, the imagery that's there, the suffering, the deaths, just, the stuff that's going on in the scenes and in the shots itself, the imagery that they've portrayed. Hello.
I'm sorry, I didn't realise that's the end of your sentence. The mood of the situation was portrayed perfectly. They got the...
Talk about awkward silence.
I didn't realise that was the end.
I'll point to you and be like, your turn.
Well, no, the mood of the situation in the scene was portrayed perfectly. They'd worked really well together. Yeah. The story and the acting and the cast and all that. But it was portrayed perfectly.
It was indeed. Moving on to the shots now. These things go hand in hand, the scale and the shots, let's say. The scale of the things when we're talking about the people, the events, the locations, the structures and the story. So great scale on all of those. And the shots definitely helped because a lot of the time it was sort of like a bird's eye view, so looking down shots.
Yes.
And it's just the epic scale of everything. It obviously matched the whole point. This massive story, So that's all I have to say in regards to shots. It just showed the enormity of all of it.
I do wonder how much is CGI.
Yeah, me too.
As an IT guy, I'm probably a bit of a geek about that. But I always wonder how much of this is CGI, how much is actually green screen, how much is real life sort of settings and stuff. The action shots were amazing. Yeah, I really liked them.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
Yeah, the initial one at the beginning, near the beginning of the film.
I know.
It proper set the mood.
It did proper set the mood. You heard it here. Right, so that's all we have to say right now regarding imagery and shots. Andy, we will be moving on to quite a few other topics before the end of this hour. And of course, don't forget, we will be talking about the rating and what it actually got as well. You said you didn't feel the pace so much.
No. I didn't even get to finish my whole sentence.
Oh, no. Well, you started a topic we weren't getting to yet.
And then you first.
Okay, well, I think that at times the pace was a bit slow. I feel like at times the film could have been cut down and condensed. The good moments were kind of worth the wait, but at the same time I did feel like it was stretched out and they could have just cut it down. But the thing is, I found out, well, I think I heard, is that it was actually longer, so they have already cut it down. So imagine how long, if they had stuck to the original, how long that would have been.
Yes. That would have been crazy. It was already a long film.
It is a long film, yeah.
The way I was going to word it was, when I was gripped and intrigued, I was gripped and intrigued. But...
Fair enough.
But
I'll see how that works.
I'll tell you what, right. When I was intrigued, I was very intrigued. I was in the moment. When I was like gripped with action and stuff, it's like, yeah, come on. But,
you guy.
Yeah. But it did have some...
Oh, yeah, action. Blood, guts and gore. Crocodile. I don't know. It's not because it's
I know.
Oh, never mind.
But it did have some slower scenes, and I agree. Yeah. It did seem to drag on a little bit in places.
I understand, because that's, there's a lot of story involved, and especially for anyone who's not familiar with this sort of story and not religious and doesn't know it, then fair enough, they have to explain it. But I do feel that at times they could have just got on with it a bit more and just condense it down further. I don't know.
Yeah,
have their conversation speed up a bit, get on with it. So, but otherwise, it was quite a good film, and I did really enjoy it. Moving on to the cast now. I think you said something about this earlier on in the hour, but I'm not too sure. Either way, I'm going to say that I thought everything was very believable. I think the cast was picked perfectly because they were quite tough and demanding roles, and having to portray them as good as they could to obviously please, if people are quite religious and know the story and they want to see it done really well, they've got that burden on their shoulders, and they've done a very good job. So.
Yeah, in my eyes, Christian Bale, I've actually made a note of it, did get it spot on. Yeah. In my opinion, he done really well for that role.
He did, yeah.
There were quite a few known actors in there that I didn't expect, as you say, Ben Kingsley.
Yeah.
Can't remember any off the top of my head.
Crocodile.
I'm trying to think of the woman that surprised me when she was in it. Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't expect her in it.
That was shocking. I'm like, well, she always has to pop up everywhere, doesn't she? She just can't leave well enough alone.
But yeah, she fit a part well as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But John Turturro.
Yes.
You know the gentleman I'm talking about?
Yes, I am.
Transformers?
Yeah.
And Mr. Deeds. I don't know if I could take him seriously.
It was an unusual role to see him in, because he does normally play a bit of a, silly, can't take him seriously sort of role.
When I look at him, what he's been in, he looks like he's been in a few serious films. But because I know him from Transformers and Mr. Deeds, kind of tarnished his look for me, in that opinion.
I don't know, but he did well, even though it's, and it broadens his horizons in the sense that, he is showing that he's not just a one-trick pony. He can do different roles.
He did do well.
But it is, I understand where you're coming from. When you do see someone who plays a certain role all the time, and you kind of see him as only portraying that sort of genre, like a comedy sort of thing, it is hard to picture him in something quite serious.
We might have to see him in a few of his other films, see how he does.
And just get numb to it and just realise that he can be serious too.
One more cast note. How do you organise such a large cast?
Well, leave it up to the casting director.
Yes, yeah.
That's their job. It is insane. It's a lot of people to look after, but there we go, And also, just really quickly as well, they had some youngsters playing in this. They had a kid playing in this as well, and he played very well.
Yes.
I mean, imagine being a kid and getting to play in a film like this.
Yes, yeah.
Insane. Of course, Andy's in the studio. We've got our final wrap-up regarding the film review. We're talking about Exodus, Gods and Kings, which is in the cinemas currently. It is classified 12A. It's an action-adventure drama, a bit of a long one. There are, be warned, there are a few stretchy moments throughout this film, but overall it is quite good. And when it comes to the epic scenes, they are really good. It's 150 minutes in length, which, if our maths combined is correct, is 2.5 hours. And we've just got our final notes. Now, I've got some notes about experience, Andy. I don't really know where to put these. It's just how I felt whilst I was seeing the film.
I do have 2 notes of...
Oh, good. Go for it. You know what? I'll let you go first right now. I'm going to be a gentleman. No, I'll just be nice.
Generous.
Yeah.
It's an emotional roller coaster.
Yes, it is. How would you know that? I don't ever see any change when I look over at you. It's just the same. It's just...
Emotions are inside.
Internal.
Yeah. And... it obviously ends up on an uplifted note, I'd imagine.
Yes. Aww. Yeah, I thought it had really good build-up throughout the film. It was quite nerve-wracking and intense. They had intense moments throughout as well, which is a lot for someone like me to take in. Very emotional. Like I said, there were a few teary moments. I didn't properly cry, but the tissues were there at the ready just in case. And I'm sure your half a tissue was as well. And the other half that I never got. And literally, no joke, jaw-dropping moments. This film, I dropped my jaw. I don't even know how many times, but I was like, oh my gosh. So I had that sort of experience through watching this film, so it's quite good.
I like the idea that you can only have one emotion at a time. Because you're so small, you can't contain it.
I can only handle... Right, anger, move on to happiness, move on to sadness, move on to fear. Just thank you, Andy. But I can actually manage more emotions than one at a time. Now, moving on to another note, which is regarding the 3D. We went to go see it in 3D because we thought, especially with all the CGI involved for all the crazy scenes regarding the plagues and all the issues, involved with the story, thought it might be worth seeing in 3D. And I'd like to say that I was right. There was so much good depth, especially when you had the large scale shots as well. It really came through.
Yep, I pointed out the 3D. It wasn't crazy 3D, but it was really good for depth.
Yes,
it
exactly.
Was really good.
And before we get to the rating, I've got one random note.
Another one?
I have just... It's so irrelevant, but I had to put it down because it's just the kind... Do you want to know what it is?
Guess what it is, God, you go.
The lovely, beautiful horses. I love me horses, so I had to write a note about me horses. There's so many gorgeous horses. If you don't know what I'm saying horses right now. It's lovely, so many beautiful horses, and I had to make a note because they look gorgeous.
I thought you were going to bring the horses up earlier when I was talking about shots and the action scenes and stuff.
I was containing myself.
And you hadn't mentioned horses to this point, so for some reason I thought your random note might
I'm
be
over it.
about
I've grown up, but
horses.
no, I haven't grown up. I still love my horses. And any films with horses, it's going to be a note, isn't it? People are like, they're lovely horses. Yeah. I did it in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes? That's the one. Because I always mix them up, Rise and Dawn, but it was the one that came out last year.
Rise of the... Yeah.
The ape one. Because I remember about the black stallions in that one, and I made a note because they just looked so good. It's so irrelevant. It has nothing to do with this. Well, the horses are needed in this story. They're running around their chariots and, war everywhere and stuff. So, and they need to travel. That's how they travel. So... Horses are very important, so there you go. I made a relevant note. But anyway, it's a random note, just so not needed. But if you're a horse lover, then you will enjoy this film as much as I did, because they are very pretty. So
Girl.
Let's move on to the rating, shall we, before I embarrass myself any further. The rating, it's too late, isn't it, for that? The rating for this is...
What did you give it first?
I'm gonna... Okay, it was so close to an 8 for me, but I'm gonna give it a 7. It was just short of an 8.
I actually got quite agree with you. I was going to go for a definite 7, maybe an 8. So, kind of the same sort of idea.
It's just, I was thinking of an 8, but as I said, because sometimes the pace kind of let it down, and it just felt like if they had maybe condensed it and, I don't know, just kept your attention throughout the entire thing, because it was at times you kind of lost it because it slowed down too much. I think that's why for me I'm giving it a 7.
I think it was a little predictable. Obviously we all know the story generally, so yeah, they can't really change too much.
Well, I was waiting for the big bit at the end with the water. I was like, I want to see that sea part and how it goes, and so, but it did look really good though. It did look really cool. The actual rating that it got was a 6.3.
Thanks to Cineworld Festival Leisure Park Basildon for the best experience around.